great that we can mix and have different interventions, different participants who will enrich this dialogue for us. The idea is to engage with the people in every country, with youth on the theme. So this year, Power to Act, it's an invitation to raise the question of the modalities of effective action on contemporary global issues, and to explore the participation of youth and civil society in public decision-making, and to work to strengthen the power of the individuals whose freedom to be and act are hindered by all forms of inequality all across the world. The French Embassy in Nepal and Alliance Française, and I must thank Sylvain and all his team for organizing tonight's event, have decided to focus on inclusion and accessibility through sports and arts in Nepal. So we collaborated with different organizations, local organizations, individuals, and I will thank them all. I hope I forget no one. And the project is to feature non-traditional inclusive events aimed at raising awareness and encouraging an open dialogue on this important topic. Throughout the year, the Alliance Française will explore in various events all the aspects of inclusion and accessibility for people with disabilities in Nepal. So there will be topic of inclusive tourism, inclusive architecture, and with various partners on each event. For tonight and for the workshop that took place last Wednesday, I would like to thank very much all the participants that Silva already mentioned, Palesha Govardhan, our Paralympic athlete and medalist that I was so happy to meet, the first Nepalese I met when I joined the embassy in September. Spinal Injury Sang Nepal for moderating and counseling us in this organizing this event. Sonika Dakal, congratulations for the performance, but also for your career as a swimmer. Ram Bahadur Tamang for the performance. Sudikshia Dongol as an artist and the organizer of the workshop, but we will see about this later on. Luja Manandar, whose short film we will have a chance to watch. Mika Nepal for the workshop as well, I believe. And let's not mention CYF Nepal for catering at the end of the event. So thank you very much for all of you. And let's the event begin. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Now it's your time, Palesha. Please, we would love to hear your remarks and your testimony regarding this team. Do you think?
Namaskar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to stand before you today, not just as a speaker for this inspiring event, but as someone who has lived in the realities of disability and inclusion. So as a Paralympian, I've also faced a lot of exclusion. There were moments of exclusion when my voice didn't seem to matter, when doors were closed simply because the world wasn't ready to accommodate a difference. I've also experienced the profound joy of inclusion when someone believed in me, when spaces were created and where I could thrive, and when I proved myself and others that there is no limit to what one can achieve. This journey has shaped me. It taught me that inclusion isn't charity. It is justice. It is about creating a society where differences are celebrated, where individuals are empowered, and where dignity is not given, and when dignity is a given, not a fight. Tonight's theme is deeply personal to me because I know what it feels to be doubted, and I know the unshakable power of being embraced and empowered. Inclusion is not just making life easier for people with disabilities, it's about giving the world access to talents, dream, contributions of millions of individuals who are waiting to be seen, heard, and valued. As we begin tonight's conversation, I invite all of you to reflect on what inclusion truly means, not just in policy or principle, but in the lives we touch every day. Think about how we can collectively build a future where no one is left behind, where no one is defined solely by their challenges, but by their courage and potential. Together, let us turn ideas into actions and create a world where every individual, regardless of their abilities, feels not just included, but celebrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Palesha. Thanks a lot. We will continue with the screening of a Shrava. Pronunciation is good? Shrava by Luja Manandar. It's a short documentary linked obviously with the theme of this evening, this night of ideas. So let's go. And maybe after you want to give awards or you prefer before? After. Okay. Luja, please.
First of all, I hope you guys are. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you to Alliance Française for letting me showcase my documentary. And if there's Nirvi Khatiwada, who is my co-director in this, thank you for helping me. And then Sudiksha Dongol, who is the narrator. Talking about my own documentary, it all started when I met Shrava 1 year ago in an exhibition at Kalashala, that is in an exhibition at Kalashala. And I was very surprised that I did not know about Down syndrome and how people interact and how people with Down syndrome interact. And then after that conversation, I heard Sudiksha say that how would they see the world? And that question made me make this documentary from Shrava's perspective. And yeah, I think I wanted to show how they see the world and how it is difficult for people with Down syndrome and their parents. So I think that's what I wanted to encapsulate. And since I did not know about Down syndrome before that, and I wanted to make it in a way that would aware more people like me, personally, in the public areas to know more about Down syndrome. So I'm going to make a longer version of this as well. So I'm raising funds for the film as well. So I hope more people get aware from these types of videos and documentaries. And I guess I hope for a more inclusive society later on. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Luja, again, for giving us the chance to screen your documentary. Last testimony before the panel discussion. Sonika Dakal will also share his view regarding this theme. Sonika?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Namaste, I am Sonika Dhakal. I want to share. Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Sonika Dhakal, and I am 40 years old. I live with spinal cord injury, but today I want to share with you how sports have changed my life. I was 20 years old when my life changed forever. It was Dasai, and like every year, I was enjoying the traditional swing in Sinduli. One moment of fun turned into a life-changing accident. I, when enjoying the traditional swing in Sinduli, one moment of fun turned into a changing accident. I injured my back T11 level spinal, could no longer walk. My family was supportive, and I am very grateful for that. But but the journey after my injury was not easy. 3 months after my accident, I went to SIRC, which was in Churpati back then, for rehabilitation. I stayed 3 months for I stayed 4 months. That's where I first discovering sports for people with spinal cord injury. I tried to wheelchair racing, draft, dart and basketball, portal hitting, so many others games. I remember my childhood love for swimming and playing volleyball, and I felt like the part of me back to up life. After rehab, I returning to Sinduli, but soon decided to move to Kathmandu. It was very decision. It is my decision, and I wanted to start the fresh. I began to working at SIRC and peer counselor. My job was teaching patients how to maintain wheelchair, and after I help them how to learn manage their life after spinal cord injury. Then in 2007, something amazing happened. I attended to rehab active camp. Expert from Poland who were also ASI survivor. They introduced me to basketball, table tennis, and swimming. Then I fall in love with swimming and reminding me of my childhood days by the river. Within the one two hour, I learned how to swim, and soon I was swimming every week. Then sports become a more than just a hobby for me. It give me confidence, purpose, and the wo- may purpose, and a way to move motivated other. In 2010, I completed the first swimming tournament in Nepal. The same year, I represented in Nepal in Asia Para Game in China. For there, my journey took me to many countries in Korea, in Indonesia, Bangladesh. There in different parts of Nepal, in many districts in Okhaldunga, Dharan, and Mugu. I also playing basketball and table tennis and receiving both national and international recognition. Between 2010 and 2018, I actively participated in sports, and even recently the 2014. There is many I went to the international participation. Then disability people is very friendly area, friendly sports center, that time I saw in the disability in self walking, self independent in there the in Nepal. So challenging in the sports center, and the infrastructure is not good for disability people. Then in international participation, it's so happy and proud of moment this time. Then sports become a more than just a hobby, and for me it gave me a confidence, purpose, and the way to motivate it in others. Just 2010 I completed the for yeah, sorry. Through the esports, I have learned that disability doesn't mean the end of your dreams. It's just a new way living, and it's a life full of possibilities. I believe in lifting other up, and showing them that they too can achieving great things. Today I continue to motivating other, teach and train. My journey has been challenging, but it's also happy, also been rewarding. Sport give me back my confidence, my identity, and my dreams. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspiring you to never give up, no matter what life throw your way. Thank you for Alliance France and SIRC. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sonika, for these inspiring words. We will continue now with the panel discussion. So I call on stage first Esha Tapa, the moderator of the panel. She's the director of Spinal Injury Sang Nepal, and she will moderate the panel discussion. Palesha Govardhan, the Olympic medalist, also will be part of this panel discussion. Sudiksha Dongol, artist, and she organized a workshop last Wednesday at Alliance Française. After, you will be able to see the work she realized with the participants. And Arvind Das Joshi, also member of a Spinal Injury Sang Nepal. They will all take part in this panel discussion. Please go ahead.
Namaste, Subha Sandhya. A very good evening to everybody in this room. Welcome to the panel discussion on inclusion and accessibility through sports and arts. The idea of this panel discussion is to have a conversation and bring out what each of our panelists are doing, and they're sharing their experience so that we can promote inclusion through sports and arts. And as the theme says, power to act. Since is it working? Okay. Since I have the introduction of the panelists with me, I want to do that. I want to welcome on stage Palesha Govardhan. She's a proud Paralympian and the first Paralympic medalist from Nepal. She's a dedicated Taekwondo athlete and has represented Nepal on multiple international platforms. Her journey in Taekwondo has been fueled by passion for the sport and a commitment to pushing boundaries. Alongside with her athletic career, she is currently a second-year architecture student in Shanghai, China, balancing her love for sports with her academic aspirations. Welcome, to
Thank
the
you.
panel discussion. Second panelist today is Sudiksha Dongol. Sudiksha Dongol is an artist from Lalitpur. She is a recent graduate from Kathmandu University School of Arts. She founded Kalashala, a space to create, and what it creates we already saw. She has organized and participated in numerous workshops and exhibitions. Sudiksha's art is a celebration of experimentation with various mediums, breaking traditional boundaries and pushing the limits of what is possible. She often collaborates with community groups, bringing collaborative art projects to life that delve into the rich tapestry of human experiences. Our third panelist today is Arvind Das Joshi. Arvind is a fellow chartered accountant from ICAI with over 25 years of experience at Joshi and Bhandari, a top accounting firm in Nepal. He has worked with global firms like Arthur Anderson and Ernst & Young and expanded services to Afghanistan. After retiring as an executive partner in 2015, he continued providing advisory services. Arvind also led the successful turnaround and divestment of Himalayan Brewery and Trishakti Distillery between 2010 and 2019. He met with a tragic accident in 2012, and with rehabilitation, he leads an active life. He is involved in various social causes in the capacity as a treasurer of Spinal Injury Sangh Nepal and also an advisor to Spinal Cord Injury Network Nepal and Drug Free Society Nepal. So welcome once again, everybody, and welcome all the audience in this auditorium today. First of all, the room looks really nice and welcoming with all the art pieces that's demonstrated here, showcased here today. And after watching that documentary, it's filling us with a different kind of aura, happiness, also excitement, little bit of sadness, but I think we are here to celebrate. So going back to Sudiksha, I want to start the conversation today. How did you start working with children with Down syndrome, and what has been your experience so far?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Am I being too loud? Oh, okay, it's fine. I think I would like to start with my introduction, although you have given the introduction. Namaste, everyone. I am Sudiksha Dongol. I am an artist based in Kathmandu and a recent graduate from Kathmandu University School of Arts. I did my Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and I specify in creating art pieces, collaborating with different communities in Nepal, like old age group, children, and also communities with disabilities. And recently I did a project in collaboration with people with Down syndrome, and my works are being displayed at this gallery. Besides that, I also have an art space called Kalashala. It's in Sanepa, and it's a space for everyone to learn, share, and create. But again, thank you so much for the question. I would like to give a little bit of background to how it started and why it started. It started way back, if I have to be honest, started way back. I was 13, I think 12 or 13 years old, when I first met Shravar and all of them. My mom used to work in an organization called Sungava. She is present here. I went there with her. She was like, would you like to come with me? She used to go there once a week. I was like, why not? Let me just join her. I went there, and then I see a lot of different people there, like people who are very different and very special, like not in a bad way, right? And then as an introverted kid, I was a very introverted kid. I would not have believed that I would be sitting here talking to all of you guys. But as an introverted kid, I asked myself this question: why are they so different? How do they see this world? That question is how it led me to creating these art pieces. So years and years and years of curiosity led me here. And for my BFA final project, I collaborated with students of Mikha, Nepal, as they were also shown in the documentary. So what actually inspired me was their drawings. Every artist needs an inspiration, right? And for me, it was their drawings. Their drawings are so unfiltered, so raw. I don't know, they've taught me a lot of things. They've taught me that perfection should never be the goal. And I think that is the reason I create artworks inspired by them. I trace their drawings and handwriting to narrate their stories. So I have 3 different storybooks, Shraddha, Rita, and Rinjan's. I think we can talk about it more later, but I think I would like to say this much for now.
Thank you. Talking about experience, we come to you, Palesha. Can you share your experience as a para-Olympian? How was the journey like to be able to represent Nepal in an international arena?
The journey has been simply a roller coaster ride because it wasn't easy. Firstly, because a person with a disability, they have a lot of barriers, especially the physically and societal. When I was young, people used to like stare at me like they don't know. They used to see my disability first, and as a result, they used to underestimate what I was capable of doing. So, but I didn't let none of that get into me. My parents were really supportive. I'm really fortunate to have them in my life, and they really pushed me to be what I am today. And I'm really happy that they pushed me because I used to give up really easily. Because people used to say, "Oh, you cannot do it. Yeah, it's not what you should be doing." But my parents were always like, "No, this is how you should be doing, and this is the only way you are going to do." So that's how I'm here today. And all of you out like watching an audience, I want to say that is just keep believing in yourself. Life is tough. Yes, you'll fail a lot, but you have to rise and just keep kicking. That's what I did. That's what I believed, and I still do. And yes, the journey is simply inspiring. And people now take me as an example, and I think that's the biggest reward for me.
Great. Coming to you, Arvindji. From an active, sporty chartered accountant to being on a wheelchair, how did you accept this change? How has your life changed since then?
Palesha, when I see you, is like when you talk about disability, like some people are born with disability. Like for myself, I was disabled at a much later stage in life when I was 47. So that's when my accident, it called me a spinal cord injury. And I think everybody should know about disability because maybe I was ignorant when I was in my active life about disability. There's different kinds of disability and this creates barriers. So they're not included in society, and the question of accessibility and inclusion, opportunities, all this kind of thing arise. In my case, at 47, I would say I've seen life, right from childhood, teenager, professional life, getting married with kids, and after the accident is like now getting back to my normal self, how I could be normal again, despite my barriers. I use a wheelchair, and with spinal cord injury, I think everybody should know. I'll just give a brief introduction. We have, 33 bones or, parts in a spinal cord. And inside the spinal cord, there's a nerve that, connects your brain to the tip of your toe. So there's millions of, neurons and nerves. In my case, I had my accident it's called cervical, which is even dangerous when you have an injury in cervical level. Then you have a thoracic level, there's 13 vertebrae, and mine was in the 5th or 6th. Then there's a cord, is a bunch of nerves, The bone is a spinal cord, and inside is the spinal cord. So when these nerves are damaged, then you have a serious kind of spinal cord injury. Some are lucky, they don't get paralyzed. I'm paralyzed from chest down. So there are different, features in spinal cord injury, like lack of muscle control, lack of, feeling of sensation of, urination or, bladder, bowel bladder. and things like that. Even touch, feeling touch. I didn't feel anything here. And I have pain, but it's neuropathic pain, nerve-related pain. So let's not get into too much details there because like how I changed is like the rehabilitation. First thing after spinal cord injury is like to getting the medical treatment. You have to be stable medically. Then after a few days, then you have rehabilitation. And then like, Sonika here, Ram, we all are, spinal cord injured people. Some much earlier than me. Like Sonika was 20 years, mine is only 13 years. So all these things are there. But now to be active, because when you think of my brain works, I don't have a traumatic brain injury, so my brain works, my hand works, I can use my computer. So actively in terms of being a professional chartered accountant, I could still work and provide services to my clients. But the only thing is the accessibility, If a client is in a building where I need to be carried, then it's not accessible. Inclusiveness, in terms of, if I talk in terms of inclusiveness, I don't think I had any issues regarding inclusive because people knew me who I was and what I did. So that kind of discrimination was not there. But when in terms of physical, accessing the facilities, the offices, that's where I think Palesha also, I think she's studying architecture. The question of universal design is required. Like if there's, like when I see a step, that's a barrier for me. And when I see a ramp, that's inclusiveness. So everybody can use, like me. Like maybe with people with visual impairment, you might need certain kind of, signs, like nowadays, when you see the pavements at Kathmandu around, so you can see the little, grooves kind of thing that's for people with visual impairment. So if you're talking about how I changed my life, rehabilitation was the main key. And there were peer counselors who motivated me that you could, like the first thing they should, like, you may not be like physically like the same before, but you can do what you had been doing like early. So that is the thing. Rehabilitation was the key for changing my life.
Thank you, Arvindji. As humans, I think, also as Nepalis, we tend to complain a lot and we forget to celebrate what we have. So we celebrate all of you today here on our stage, Ram and Sonika and Shrava and so many others in this room. We salute you and we celebrate you today with all our heart. But still, there are lots of challenges that we face every day, like Arvindji said. Some knowingly, some unknowingly, there are always barriers in the society. Physical barriers, mental barriers, societal barriers. So talking about barriers, I want to ask Sudiksha ji, what are the current challenges in Nepal when we talk about inclusion through art as what you have practiced? There must be challenges. Would you like to share that with us?
If we start talking about challenges, I think the night will not end. But if I have to address a few, I think people underestimate people with disabilities or people who are differently abled. While I exhibited my work at Nepal Art Council, I got a lot of feedbacks, some good, some bad. Some people came just look at my work and they're like, "Yo to jole pani garna sakcha," and then left. And then they didn't even try to understand what my art actually is. So something that the main challenge would be like people are not trying to understand what it actually is. But at the same time, there were people who came back again and again, 3 days in a row to understand my art better. So I think things are changing, but then it's a challenge as well. The other thing would be like, I don't know, I think people trying to understand is the main thing that I want to say. Besides that, about my artwork, I think underestimating is something that people usually do, but trying, because we did a workshop recently and then it was an inclusive workshop. There were people of students of Mika involved in the workshop, and the way that they interacted with the students, I'm so happy. I can see so many familiar faces here from the workshop. Thank you so much for being so interactive with the students of Mika during the workshop. I think the challenges are now being a part of solution. So I would not like to address that this is the challenge, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, just seeing the better side here. So that's it.
We all have the power to act. So, same question to you. Of course, there are barriers like what she said about how people perceive what you are doing, and ए बिचारा ए हो र गर्न सक्छ र all that thing is there. What do you want to add something when we talk about inclusion in sports, other challenges, because you probably faced a lot when you were representing Nepal also, so please touch on that.
So for me, inclusion is खालि उहाँले भन्नुभयो like accessible buildings. It's not just about that. It's about opportunities, equality, empowerment, and so much more. So in sports, if I have to talk like sportsकै बारेमा भन्नुपर्दा, so in sports, so for para players, we don't have accessible buildings, accessible courts, even basics like toilets. It's really difficult for them to use anything for changing room, shower room. So all these things are really important. It's really basics, but people like ignorant and ignore गर्छ, like उनीहरूले adjust गर्छ, like they need to adjust once. So it's just like they don't want to accept, like it should be normally, it can change गर्नु पर्यो जस्तो हुन्छ, but it's really basic and it's really sad to see. And अहिलेसम्म पनि there's no यति राम्रो development चाहिँ भएको छैन. But after I won the Paralympics, people like इच्छुक छ होइन मैले के गरिरहेको छ, लाइक प्यारालिम्पिक पनि छ है, उहाँहरूले पनि गेम खेल्छ भनेर चाहिँ आइरहेको छ. सो आइएम होपफुल फ्युचरमा चाहिँ नि अब प्यारा गेम्सको अझै पनि प्रगति हुन्छ. उहाँले अब गभर्मेन्ट फाइनेन्सियली नै हो सबै कुरा, लास्टमा फाइनेन्सियलबाट नै सल्युसन आउँछ. सो डेफिनेटली फ्युचरमा केही हुन्छ होला, बट राइट नाउ द सिचुएसन इज नट सो गुड फर प्यारा एथलिट्स.
We hope that things will change and we will again like work together to bring that change. Arvindji, coming to you as an active member of the Spinal Injury Sangh Nepal, what role does sports play at your center, and what are your current challenges when we talk about rehabilitation through sports?
I have a paper because I don't want to forget some keywords here, because you tend to forget all these kind of things. So sports and arts, both of these are very important especially for people with disability. And first of all, the kind of self-development, and someone who is active certainly is a person with gets disability. Then again, you cannot do all kinds of things. So that's where all these sports, adaptive sports and things are there nowadays. Because for people with spinal cord injury, we have a basketball league nowadays. People, you might not know, but you only know football and cricket and all these kind of things. But those in wheelchairs, like all in the 7 regions of Nepal, there are people on wheelchairs playing basketball. And there's a league also, a competitive sports, different. Even for army and police, they have their own team. And like spinal injury, at Jorpati also, they have their own team. And Jaulakil also, they have their own team. Basketball is one thing. Besides that, there's swimming also. Now, with the help of one institution in US, they're doing wheelchair rugby also. That's for people with quadriplegic, those whose hands are, muscle control in the hands are, less. So those who can control, they play basketball. Those who can't control their hands, they play rugby also on wheelchairs. That is. So that is there. I forgot your question. Challenges. Now the challenges are, when you talk in terms of disability, one is the three points here. Intrapersonal is the self. How they feel the challenges. The interpersonal, you could say the attitude, your own attitude, your mood and the stress and skill level. Then there's the interpersonal, how the society thinks you are, like the challenges you faced also from the society, and like you cannot do it. Like for us on wheelchairs, yes, we cannot run around or walk and do all those kind of physical thing, but we can still roll around and play basketball also. Then there's the structural constraint, is the question of where there is only steps. That's a barrier for us. Yeah? Like then when there's ramps, then easier for us to access buildings, access to sports facilities, access to studios where they can go and do their art or things like that. So these are the few challenges that we face. But let's be positive. The situation is much better now in Nepal than 20 years back. Like you are showcasing your art with your people with Down syndrome. That may not have been 30 years back. Now people are more acceptable about people with it. We're no different. It's because when I think in terms of my disability, I think I'm normal. The only thing is my condition is different than what I was 10 years back. One accident caused my from being a very active or active person physically to a active person still, but not physically active.
Thank you. That's a very positive statement there, Arvindji. Sudiksha ji, I want to ask you, how is your work different than other artists? What other artists they're doing in compared to what other artists are doing, and where do you see yourself in next few years with all that positivity?
Okay. How am I different from other artists? I think we're all very different. Talking about art, people think that art should be eye pleasing, aesthetically pleasing, realistic, chitika pareko, ramro. For me, it's not that. Art is an expression for me. Sanedekhi nai I started with doodling, scribbling around the pages. It all started like as an introverted kid. I used to scribble a lot. And I think art is a medium of self-expression for me. And in my artworks, I feel like I've expressed what I've built with them over the past years. Like the connection that I built with them is what I've expressed. So मेरो work चाहिँ it's not gonna be chitikko or like राम्रो, perfect. त्यस्तो चाहिँ हुँदैन. I don't believe in perfection. That's what they've taught me. And I think that's the reason it's different from other artworks. And I feel like collaborative art is something that hasn't been seen much in Nepalma. I've seen a lot in international platforms, but Nepalma bistare airako cha hola. And I would love to see more collaborative art projects or like artworks. And talking about future, I think I would like to continue what I'm doing. I don't want to be very futuristic, mo yo garchu, tyo garchu bhanera. I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing. And I feel like one step at a time, I'll reach to a point where I feel proud of myself. I am proud of myself, but like small achievement, you know. अहिले मेरो project हेरेर मान्छेहरूले डाउन सिन्ड्रोमको बारेमा त थाहा पाए पनि I feel like that's like I've achieved something जस्तो feel हुन्छ. So yeah, not being too futuristic, I think I will continue what I've been doing. One step at a time. Yeah, with all of your support, I feel like I'll reach somewhere in one point. Thank you.
Definitely you will. Thank you. And Palesha ji, as a para-Olympian, what message do you want to give to young people out there?
My only message is to just keep believing in yourself. Don't give up. किनकि जब मैले taekwondo सुरु गरेको थिएँ, I was just 10 years old. I was madly in love with taekwondo, and my parents were even crazier. I mean, they were one that believed in me, and I want to tell all the parents out there to believe in your children's dream, because they believed in my dream, and my dream today, I live in that dream. I'm living it. And अब यही जर्नीमा जुन पनि फिल्डमा होस्, whether it's art, sports or any other thing, failure त आइहाल्छ होइन. अनि आफ्नो बच्चाहरूले गर्न सकेन, अब हार्छ यसले मलाई रिजल्ट दिँदैन भनेर चाहिँ नि नभन्नुहोस्. I keep supporting. Even I lost so many games. I lost the one Olympic, like, duh. But yet I still worked hard for 4 years, and here I am today, bringing Nepal's first ever Paralympic medal. And my parents are the proudest because they believed in me, and I want all of you to believe in your child's dream as well. And yeah, anything is possible if you are crazy and madly in love with what you're doing. Thank you.
Wow. Living with crazy parents is something that is, you don't have words to explain. And I think my daughters here will agree with me, probably raising their eyes. And I wish you all the best, Palisha ji. And Arvind ji, as a visionary member of SISN, what are your plans for future? Or first, do you have a piece of advice for young people out there?
No, don't call me visionary, but in terms of when I my experience with disability, like I wish I had done more for people with disability, because I also had a niece, a sister, cousin sister, who had intellectual disability as well as physical disability. Like initially, when it was possible, my aunt used to bring her to our house because some functions and so. But once she grew older, it was very difficult for my aunt to bring her. So she was like totally excluded from our society. I used to be quite surprised, like, why is she not here? And because as a kid, but eventually then I got to know that it's not it's very difficult, because places were not accessible. A wheelchair would not come, and it was very difficult to commute or take her to these places. So eventually, at the age of, I think, 30 or 40, she passed away. And then again, during the funeral, we had to go. And I felt really sad, because I wish I had visited my aunt a lot more, and try to support her emotionally or physically. So, like all of you here, you're here, very able-bodied, maybe I would say, and there are people with disability who are facing challenges, barriers every day of our life here, and yeah, let's being positive. Things have got a little better, but there's still so much work to do. you know. And the way I see it myself, my personal goal would be to do as much as possible for people with disability. And like, you're working with intellectual disability, I'm working with not only physically, but mine is a neurological condition also. So there's people with visual impairment, they face their own challenges. People with cerebral palsy, and like the people like children with Down syndrome, they can communicate now, because they're taught that's kind of rehabilitation. Like, and for us, like Sonika, she's a para swimmer, though she uses a wheelchair. Ram is a very good singer. He didn't sing, but he just danced here. So there are different forms of art where they express themselves. So as part of the society, as citizens, fellow citizens, we need to encourage them as much as possible, motivate them. And in terms of accessibility, that's where the government should play a much active role, making buildings accessible, public places, temples, churches, wherever, accessible as much as possible, so that it is based on universal design, and anybody can go, anybody. You don't have to differentiate. In terms of disability, I think for those with disability, they shouldn't feel anything different. It's just a condition that you have, maybe genetically or maybe through accidents. So you're normal. You're a fellow human being, and you are a fellow citizen. That's the attitude that you need to take, and that's where I want to motivate younger generation. I'm old now. So a younger generation to be encouraged, motivated, like people like Palisha here. See them and take life forward, do something with your life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing your experience with us. Is there anything that you would like to say that I didn't ask? Uh, oh, I forgot to say this, and nothing like that. Okay, so maybe we should, because we have to enjoy the night, there is a lot more to look forward to. I want to now open the floor to the audience. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask our panelists or even share? Please feel free. You can raise your hands and we'll pass on the mic. छ कसैलाई केही भन्नु छ केही सेयर गर्नु छ आई मिन यति धेरै कुरा हेरिसक्यौँ एक्जिबिसन मुभी कुरा गरिसक्यौँ उहाँहरूसँग इफ देयर इज एनिथिङ द्याट यु वुड लाइक टु सेयर ओके
Hi, my name is Subi. I part of Queer Honky Tonk, which is I doing performance arts for the queer community. I actually had a question for you, Sudeksha. I've noticed that in all the art pieces, most of them they're very tactile. I assume maybe is there a reasoning that inspiration of why you would want to put more texture on pieces?
Okay, yeah. I'm so glad that you noticed that. I love experimenting with different mediums, and textile has been something that has been very interactive. You know, textile is something that we can touch, we can feel. I mean, like we can stitch it, we can tear it, like do whatever you want with it, right? So also to mention in Shrava's works, the books that I've showcased here, I've used their old clothes, their old shawls, their old kurtas to create the art pieces, the collages. So in my artwork, each and every little bits of pieces means something. And the reason behind why it is touchable, why it's like, because most people don't let you touch the art. I do. Maybe that's the reason my artwork is different. I let them touch my art. I let them like do whatever they want with my art. It's a part of the process. So I think that's the only reason. I just want to make it more interactive, and I enjoy when people interact with my work. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Okay.
there no more okay
Hello. My question is to Polisa ma'am. So you are definitely an Olympic athlete, and I want to know why did you go for Taekwondo? Like it's a really competitive sport and need a lot of action, or just great courage to even practice and all that. Yes.
Because I chose Taekwondo because first it was introduced in my school. So it was introduced as an extracurricular activity. So we had to choose from music, dance, and martial arts. And from very young age, I'm a really naughty kid. I used to kick my sisters all the time. So it was a perfect thing for me. And and also, so I was really, so I've always been into kicking. I used to kick and punch way before I was introduced to Taekwondo. And when I first got to know about Taekwondo is introduced in my school, I was like I asked my mom, like, can I take it? And she was like, sure. She was like, promise me you'll not kick your sisters after the classes. I was like, sure, I'm going to kick everyone in the class. And the first thing that I did was kicked all the boys in the in my Taekwondo station. And that's how I got into the eye of my coach. And my coach was like, oh, she kicks really well. And before I knew, he just suited me up in Taekwondo, like guards. And I was already in the mat fighting with boys. And that's how I started my Taekwondo.
Good evening, everyone. मेरो क्वेसन चाहिँ पलिसा म्यामलाई लाइक यहाँ बस्दा बस्दै मेरो माइन्डमा एउटा समाजमा हाम्रो नेपाली समाजमा घटेको एउटा घटनाहरू मलाई याद भयो लाइक आइएम फ्रम तराई तराई रिजनमा चाहिँ कस्तो घटना पनि मैले देखेँ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईँको भिजुअली इम्पेयर्ड जो आँखा देख्न सक्नुहुन्न उहाँलाई चाहिँ लाइक समाजमा केही जुन नराम्रो मेन्टालिटी भएको मान्छेहरूबाट उहाँप्रति के किसिमको शारीरिक शोषण भएर उहाँ तपाईँको पछि गएर उहाँको लाइफ एक त अलरेडी उहाँ भिजुअल इम्पेयर भएर गाह्रो भएको थियो त्यो पछि त्यस्तो भइसकेपछि अझ उहाँको लाइक लाइफ हेल जस्तो पनि भयो एज पलिसा म्याम सी वाज इन अ taekwondo stream so is there any idea that we can make those people and to taught them self defense हामीले उहाँहरूलाई कसरी गर्न सक्छौँ अथवा यसरी गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ दे क्यान बी प्रोटेक्टेड है अथवा त्यस्तो कुनै तपाईँले त्यस्तो आइडिया छ भने यु क्यान जस्ट वर्क अन द्याट भन्न चाहन्छु र त्यसमा समाजमा चाहिने किसिमको होइन सपोर्टहरू चाहिन्छ भने विल देयर टु हेल्प यु एज वेल थ्याङ्क यू सो मच
हजुर त्यस्तो त्यस्तो पनि सिकाउँछ हामीले हाम्रो स्पोर्ट्स अब हामीले पारा स्पोर्ट्स भने होइन पारा स्पोर्ट्समा अब खालि व्हिल चेयर गेम्स डिसेबल डाउन सिन्ड्रोमको मान्छेहरूले पनि स्पोर्ट्स खेल्छ हाम्रो भिजुअली इम्पेयर्ड फुटबलहरू पनि छ ह्यान्डबलहरू छ टेनिसहरू छ सबै स्पोर्ट्स छ तर मान्छेहरूले थाहा हुँदैन कि अब आँखा छैन तर कसरी खेल्छ भन्छ आँखा नभएको लाइक ओलम्पिकमा भिजुअली इम्पेयर्डहरूले चाहिँ नि रनिङ म्याराथन हुन्छ उनीहरूको फुटबल हुन्छ सो सबै डिफ्रेन्टली एबल पिपलहरूको लागि सबै स्पोर्ट्सहरू एभाइलेबल छ कि तर मान्छेहरूले अब थाहा नभएर पनि हो त्यसको बारे अब धेरै एडभर्टिजमेन्ट पनि गर्दैन नि अब गभर्मेन्टबाट अब ओलम्पिकको पनि त्यति हामीले सुनेको हुँदैन नि को गइरहेछ के गइरहेछ भनेर तर सबै हुन्छ कि आई थिङ्क मोर अवेरनेस चाहिँ नि चाहे कि अब गाउँ गाउँमा गएर ठाउँ सबैले लाइक भन्यो भने त सबैलाई त इन्ट्रेस्ट होला नि होइन सबैलाई लाइक गेमैमा इन्ट्रेस्ट नभए पनि केही न केही आफ्नो अब लाइफको लागि केही गर्ने भनेर पनि हुन्छ सो आई थिङ्क अवेरनेस एकदमै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ
अब
for her, because she's working in arts for people with, children, people with Down syndrome. What about with autism, with cerebral palsy? Can you work, or what are the different forms for art or sports? Both of them.
Talking about autism, I do have a student who is autistic and she is present here today, Sama. Mikama चाहिँ we do have autistic, deaf र Down syndrome भएको स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू होइन त्यो बाहेकको चाहिँ I have not worked yet but I would love to work in future so yeah
So since I don't see any hands raised, we should probably close this discussion and because we are all talking about all the good things we have achieved. I want to share something. You just saw Ramji dancing here in the stage, and out of the 4,500 people, the person with spinal cord injury that I have come across with, he's one person who says, I'm lucky to have a spinal cord injury. म भाग्यमानी रहेछु मलाई चाहिँ म मेरुदण्ड पक्षघात भएर म व्हिलचेयरमा बस्न पाएँ because my whole life has changed. म मान्छे भएर जन्मिनेको तात्पर्य बल्ल मैले बुझेँ because in his simple normal wheelchair, not even electric, not even sports, or not even fancy, he has gone from Namo Buddha to Lumbini, from Lumbini to Bodh Gaya, and also from east to west of Nepal. So while you are having your drink, you can calculate how many kilometers that is. And since we are here to celebrate each other and uplift each other, Let's keep doing that throughout the evening and also uh, in the coming days. And I'm sure if we are helping each other, which we are, we will be able to create a much inclusive society. And happiness is just a state of mind, I guess. So we're all happy, and let's enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you so much, everybody. You wanted to ask a question? Okay.
So, hello, good evening, everybody. So, मेरो चाहिँ question भन्दा पनि एउटा appreciation हो. So, I'm actually a second generation manufacturer, Blackers Industries-बाट. अनि currently हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा new factory space बन्दैछ हैन. अनि I have been advising my parents on this and that, things not to be forgotten, things like that. But this event has actually cemented on my mind the idea of inclusivity, the universal design, and how each and every people of every community shall be included in empowerment and all. So really grateful for that. Thank you.
Yes, you have the power to act. We all have. Let's enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, panelists, once again.
Thanks a lot, Esha, for moderating this panel discussion. Thank you also to Palesha, Sudiksha, Arvind, also Luja, Sonika, Ram, all the people involved in this evening. I invite you now to enjoy the exhibition realized by Sudiksha and all the participants last Wednesday, right? What we are seeing here was done last Wednesday in this inclusive workshop. So please take time for that. And I think it's also time to pay a tribute to all the differently able people. I learned a nice word today, and I think it's time to pay a tribute to them and to all of them in Nepal and around the world. Yeah. And after, you are welcome in our garden to take time for share about this evening, about power to act, about inclusion, disability, sport and art, and more, if you want, for a small cocktail. Thank you again for being here, and enjoy the evening.
Thank you.